5 foods you shouldn't eat if you have high blood pressure. Did you know? When you have high blood pressure for an extended period of time, it destroys your blood vessels and causes LDL, bad cholesterol, to build along rips in your artery walls. This causes artery narrowing and raises the burden on your circulatory system, reducing its efficiency. As a result, having high blood pressure increases your chances of acquiring life-altering and life-threatening illnesses. According to me, one of the best ways to lower your blood pressure is to eat a nutritious diet. This includes foods high in potassium, magnesium, and fiber. It also helps to cut down on sodium. You see, potassium-rich foods include bananas, sweet potatoes, avocados, tomatoes. Lima beans are rich in calcium and are a good source of fiber. Don't forget that a low-sodium diet can always reduce your risk of high blood pressure. If you would have noticed, the American Heart Association recommends that you eat less than 2,300 milligrams of salt each day. Instead, you may want to use herbs and spices to season your meals. In addition to eating a healthy diet, you can make a number of changes to your lifestyle. These include reducing your salt intake and exercising more regularly. Sounds healthy and interesting? So here we tend to answer the following questions. What foods make high blood pressure worse? What can I eat if my blood pressure is high? What food lowers BP quickly? Which fruit is best for high blood pressure? Now, let's not waste time and dive into 7 foods you shouldn't eat if you have high blood pressure. Shall we? Hello dear viewers. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome to TKI, theknowledgeinsights.com. Being part of your fine lifestyle. Before we start, click the subscribe button below, also the bell icon, as we have more insights to share with you for your fine living. Let's get started. Number 1. Processed food. If you are having trouble controlling your blood pressure, you may have to think about the effects of processed food on your health. Many processed foods contain artificial additives and excessive sodium. While they can be convenient, these ingredients raise the risk for high blood pressure. There are plenty of heart-healthy foods you can enjoy, such as nuts, whole milk, and tofu. Just be sure to choose leaner cuts of meat. Did you know? A recent study investigated the associations between food consumption and anthropometric indicators of blood pressure in children aged 7 to 10 years. They found that ultra-processed food is linked to higher blood pressure and premature death. Ultra-processed foods include items such as dehydrated vegetable soups, ready meals, reconstituted meat and fish products. They have lower nutritional quality and are typically cheaper. Despite these benefits, the researchers say further research is needed to understand the effect of ultra-processed food on high blood pressure. Nevertheless, several studies have found that people who consume more highly processed foods have increased risks for cardiovascular disease, high cholesterol, and cancer. Researchers believe these findings should help prompt policy changes to promote fresh and minimally processed foods. Researchers also suggest that the consumption of unprocessed foods is beneficial for cardiometabolic health. These foods are rich in dietary fiber. Don't forget, fiber is a non-digestible nutrient that can be found in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Number 2. Excessive alcohol consumption. Yes, you heard me right. Excessive alcohol consumption is associated with an increased risk of developing high blood pressure. It is estimated that more than 1 billion people are affected worldwide. There are numerous causes of hypertension including age, obesity, smoking and weight gain. Thus, high blood pressure can lead to an irregular heartbeat, clogged arteries, and a clot in the brain. A recent study found that heavy drinking is a major contributing factor to high blood pressure. Women who drink more than 3 drinks a day, and men who drink more than 5 drinks a day, have higher systolic blood pressure than non-drinkers. Hence, studies have suggested that reducing alcohol intake reduces systolic and diastolic blood pressure. However, the effects of alcohol reduction on blood pressure are dose-dependent. In a randomized clinical trial, 320 participants were given an intervention to reduce their alcohol intake. They were followed for 2 years. Alcohol intake was measured at baseline and at the follow-up. Participants were divided into 3 groups. For those who drank less than 2 drinks per day, the reduction in blood pressure was not significant. People who drank 3 to 6 drinks per day had the strongest reduction in systolic and diastolic pressure. The systolic and diastolic measurements were adjusted for gender, age, body mass index, cigarette smoking and oral contraceptive use. The average alcohol intake was 40 grams/day for 4 women. Results suggest that the effect of reducing alcohol intake is substantial and dose dependent. The change in systolic and diastolic BP was -3 times 13 and -2 times 65 to -1 times 35, respectively. Number 3. Salt consumption. Yes. Salt always had an impact, dear viewers. A high salt diet can raise the risk of these conditions. Eating less salt is an effective way to treat high blood pressure. The World Health Organization recommends that people consume no more than 5.0 grams of sodium per day. While this level may not be a problem for many people, consuming too much can cause damage to the arteries, which can lead to heart problems. Salt consumption can also affect kidneys, which filter 120 quarts of blood every day. Did you know? Excess sodium in the body can lead to fluid buildup, swelling and weight gain. In some cases, kidney disease can be fatal. Excessive salt intake can also increase the risk of dementia, heart failure, and stroke. If you have any of these medical conditions, you should talk to your doctor about reducing your salt intake. Recent studies have shown that reducing salt intake can reduce systolic blood pressure. These reductions are thought to be stronger in people with salt sensitivity. This condition is more common among overweight individuals. Sodium sensitivity is also known to be influenced by genetics. Researchers have found that African Americans and middle-aged people are most at risk for salt sensitivity. The ambulatory salt sensitivity index is a method for assessing a person's salt sensitivity. Using this index, a person is classified into 3 groups based on their ability to maintain their nocturnal BP. Number 4. Saturated fats are unhealthy food for people with high blood pressure. When consumed in large quantities, saturated fat can actually raise blood pressure. Fortunately, you can control your blood pressure by incorporating specific foods into your diet. Once again, the American Heart Association recommends limiting your intake of saturated fat to 5 to 6% of your daily caloric intake. It's important to note that these amounts may vary from person to person, depending on your weight, health, and diet. Saturated fats are most commonly found in animal-based foods such as meat, dairy, and eggs. But they are also present in some processed foods and baked goods. Trust me, it's time that you should check the label of any foods you're considering purchasing. Another reason you should avoid saturated fats is because they can increase your risk of heart disease. In fact, if you have both diabetes and hypertension, your risk of developing heart disease increases even more. Trans fats are another form of harmful fats that should be avoided. These are created when vegetable oils are hydrogenated. They have similar effects to saturated fats, lowering the amount of HDL, good cholesterol in your body. If you're concerned about your blood pressure, high time, you should talk to your physician or nutritionist about how much fat you're consuming. Saturated fats are a very common ingredient in processed foods. While some brands have come out with healthier versions of their products, you should avoid products that are not labeled heart healthy. Never forget, if you're prone to developing high blood pressure, you should pay attention to the reactions of your body to certain foods. Number 5. Red meats. Finally, if you have high blood pressure, it is not a good idea to eat red meat. We know, high blood pressure can lead to cardiovascular disease and stroke. There are also studies showing that eating red meat can increase the risk of cancer and premature death. Once, researchers found that participants who ate the most red meat had an increased risk of hypertension. The study also found that people who reported food insecurity were at greater risk of having high blood pressure. Some studies have shown that people who eat red meat in moderation have better health than those who don't. But the safe amount of red meat to eat is still a matter of debate. So, if you're one, why don't you just think about it? In the American Heart Association's guidelines for dietary management, it is recommended that people limit processed red meat. This includes pork and beef. Instead of buying these products, try to eat fresh, lean meats. I think it's yum too. Don't you think so, viewers? Takeaway. Anyways, if you see, foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, like fish, can help lower your pressure. You can take a fish oil supplement, but it is not as effective as eating these foods. Whole grains can be beneficial for people with hypertension. They are higher in fiber, potassium, and magnesium than white bread. Another way to lower your blood pressure is to drink more water. Just keep drinking water. Trust me, drinking plenty of water can help your body get rid of excess fluid and prevent blood vessel damage. As said, diets rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains are also beneficial. Researchers found that diets rich in these foods can lower your pressure by 11 mm Hg, you see. Fruits, vegetables, and whole grains should make up at least 2/3 of your daily meal. Lastly, adding a banana to your cereal or fruit salad can help to keep your blood sugar levels stable. Dear viewers, we believe that seeing this video would have piqued your interest and sparked your curiosity. We'd appreciate it if you could leave us a remark in the comments section below. As always, we appreciate hearing from you.